Today is another DuckTales audio only review, but we're almost all caught up. Today I'm reviewing DuckTales, the Forbidden Fountain of the Foreverglades, which is the 11th episode of the third season. So, this episode, first of all, it's a play very much on the Fountain of Youth. They had an episode about that in the original DuckTales series as well. But this is the new series take on it, and of course, we get Scrooge, and we also get the return of Goldie, and so we get some more characterization for both of them because they accident and they inadvertently drink some of the water from the fountain, more or less. We'll get to that later. And then they become young again, and it gets them, I think, gives them both a fresh look at light. And meanwhile, on this journey, Webby's getting constantly, bogged down by, missteps, not one or two missteps, bugs and all that. So it's like she's the old one on the adventure instead of them, which is just, kind of a great twist of all this. And also we get the return of John D. Vandercrack or Vanderduck, whatever his actual name is. Basically, they'll play on Rockefeller. Um, he returns in this episode because he wants the fountain to restore his youth, and after being beaten, I gotta say yeah, he does not look good. But apparently, it was experimental treatments that kept him alive this long. So there's that. Um, Meanwhile, Huey, Dewey, and Louie just want to basically enjoy spring break at the resort that's near the supposed location of the fountain. But what's discovered? Well, the conquistador in their universe, who's a lion, is the owner who discovered the fountain, is also the owner of the resort, and he drained the fountain go into the resort's pool so it can steal the use of, basically college students. So that way he can stay forever young, basically. That is literally his plan. And it's the Forbidden Fountain of the Foreverglades, which I'll play on the Everglades. Um, and all that, but it's like it doesn't give, eternal life or eternal youth. But rather it steals it from one person and gives it to the other. And actually during Huey Dewey Louie's story, Huey gets a tiny drop splashed on him, so he ends up being that's a Dewey, in case I didn't make like this, so he gets a tiny little bit splashed on him, so he becomes the taller one. That then he's like, I must have been the first one whose egg was laid, and trying to throw that, and then he's the oldest. And then here we figure out exactly how to turn the tables on him by playing ping pong. I know I'm serious. That's how he doesn't realize that. Basically, okay, if Dewey's gonna be acting like the older brother, then he's gonna act like the Dewey, and gets Dewey to kind of get a bit of humility stashed in. But it's a very much fitting story for Huey, who is the middle child. The child is always starving normally for attention in the family. Because let's remember, I made a video about this a while ago. I'll try to link it in the cards in the description. But they use the personalities of the first, middle, and youngest child as the basis of the personalities for Huey, Dewey, and Louie in their birth order. So it would make sense if the middle child, for some reason, got in his head that he's actually the oldest, he's going to probably take full advantage of it, and that's what Dewey does in this episode. But he learns his lesson by the end, and then no, and then it's all reversed by he dips his toe in the pool after and his that tiny bit of not dip one like tiny drop onto him as the water just brings him back to his normal age. So that's the story of the episode and all that. So as I said, both Scrooge and Goldie get new perspective on life, and like, a lot of this episode is actually them complaining about their age, and then they get their new perspective on life and complaining about their age in the way that an old person would typically do that. Young people don't know how good they have it, blah blah blah. and then they get young again, and that's so it's for their character development. And I think um it definitely think affects Goldie a bit more because Scrooge had already I think found a lot of what he had lost by rekindling his relationship with Donald and Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then also got Ad and Dallas Return, and then Webby and the other characters who they regularly interact with. So Scrooge I think found a lot of stuff he had lost from his youth. Now that we still don't know all Scrooge's youth, but he definitely regained, rediscovered, or got some of the stuff he needed from his youth. So he found out. So I think this episode might be the starting point of a character development for Goldie, and I think that could be very interesting to follow for and what's going to come up with her next appearance. And because she does stay at she basically because of all the experiences of this episode, she decides that she can't leave Scrooge behind and helps stop the bad conquistador. Gotta say, I'm a history buff, and I'm not big into Spanish colonization of the Americas. That's just not an area I really focused on. But I do know one thing: the conquistadors were really great conquerors. Not that conquerors are ever great, but they were particularly brutal in many cases. So it actually kind of does fit their character that this conquistador is very self-serving because a lot of them actually were. You know, they were there for three things: God, glory, and gold. But they put it that way. But it's really just gold for themselves and glory from themselves. And the God was a justification. And glory was sometimes they also claim was for their homeland, was normally from themselves. But that's a whole nother topic that I just thought I'd interject in here. But that is, I think, pretty much. Oh, I think I sufficiently covered Dewey's character a little bit, and even Huey's, where he has a better understanding of what it's like to be the middle child, so maybe he'll understand. Meanwhile, Louis was like, yeah, whatever. He was really just like went along with whatever his other two siblings did. So yeah, that's I think I covered everything. And so expect tomorrow to be my review of Let's Get Dangerous. And yeah, that concludes the review. So thank you for watching. That concludes this review. I do hope you enjoyed it, and please leave a like if you did. Feel free to check me out on social media or support me on Patreon. Links are down below. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and feel free to check out the video or the playlist on screen now. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one. Bye!